Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Paul O'Neill, it's Andy McEwen, lead comms and co-comms. Andy, little driver's briefing then, which was a bit weird in the beginning of the first race. What's going on?
Yeah, very inconsiderate. We came out here to talk to them all and they're all getting a telling off, but something to do with track limits. I believe there were one or two of them, I heard rumours, were going over track limits in qualifying, so I think they've just been given a bit of a talking to, because, you know, it's not just damaging the circuit, it's damaging the cars as well. You know, you don't want to be running too much of those curbs and doing rims and tyres in, so hopefully they listened.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of talk. I was speaking to Mickey Butler from Goodyear, and he showed me all of the damage, and all of that damage is coming from the curbs, mate. And like you said, it's at the right fronts, right rear. It was just weird, and all it is people running over that that curb that's on the entry to some of the chicanes. So they've got to watch it. This race is long, mate, and it's hotter than it has been, you know, so far.
Absolutely, and the damage you do to those tyres in the first couple of laps, you might not feel that pain until the final 5 laps or so, but if you start hammering curbs on low tyre pressures, then you're going to feel that pain for sure later on. So they need to be patient, but of course we've got some drivers, particularly those towards the back of the grid, can't really afford to be patient. You know, Max Hart, Lewis Kent, they've got to make some progress here from a championship perspective, because this man's got us stuck in on pole position. Chris Smiley, new championship leader now after qualifying, and he's odds-on favourite for the win, so they need to make progress from the back.
Yeah, a lot going on, isn't there? It was nice, wasn't it, to see so many of the fans here actually on the track. They've been whistled off now as it's only the teams that are left and the officials and us idiots. But nice here at Castle Combe. I like this place, mate.
It's one of my favourite places to come. It's just got this special atmosphere. It's a proper old school circuit, and it's no frills really, this place, but it's such a nice atmosphere. They're so welcoming. You know, they've really promoted the event. The fans come out in force every time we come and race here. It's probably one of the biggest crowds we ever have. So yeah, lovely place to come racing, and it's always a good circuit for racing as well. I think we'll see some action.
Yeah, top man. Listen, I'll let you go comms box. I'm just going to quickly speak to Nikki Lines and Simon Slade. Come here, Nikki.
Nikki's run off. So
Nikki obviously she doesn't pay her tax, ovs. Si, am I just ruining a picture? Hang on, what's going on here? Hello.
A complete team photobombing us. How about that?
Listen, you've got a very important job, and the reason we're here is probably because of you and Stuart and Nikki. Good place, isn't it, Combe?
It is. It's also my local circuit, and we know it well, and I think everybody here will agree. There's a great sort of family community atmosphere going on here. It's got something that other tracks haven't, and it's a real challenge. It's a step away from some of the major UK tracks we go to, but that's good. That's what makes the season interesting.
Old school, fast, I love it. Let me get out of the way of these guys' pictures. Did I ruin that for you? Sorry. Who are we rooting for?
Chris.
Chris Smiley. Yeah. He can do the job, can't he? He looks like a proper smiler at the minute, doesn't he?
Oh, definitely. He can easily win this. Surely.
Oh, you love the fact you've just said that. Easily win it. What's your name, sorry?
I'm Nathan.
Nathan, good to see you, fella. Right, I'll let you guys go. It's good to see the drivers out and about. Actually, come with me. I need to quickly speak to, not Nikki. Nikki, you can go away. She's hiding behind Mickey Butler. This is the main man from Goodyear. We were speaking a bit before, and as a driver, I know where you're coming from, because it's not quite right out there, is it? And that's why we're seeing punches, and it's not punches, it's actually failures of the car as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had 5 or 6 instances now in qualifying. We had nothing in free practice and testing, and we've actually punched a couple of holes through the rims. We've had hubs break, the straight line in the chicanes. So we've informed I've been out and done a track inspection. I've been into driver's briefing to reinforce that. I don't know what else I can do, but I am concerned.
So the people who are going to win this race are going to be people who look after the car on low pressures and just don't go anywhere near the cars. Don't want to go over the big curves, do they?
You're a racing driver, you know what I mean? They should really, you know, look at the ambient track we've got now. They should have, you know, set the car up to, you know, maintain good tyre life. But I just looking round, we've got such a young age of drivers. So they're all starting in front-wheel drive and learning their career. I think Chris is the oldest one on the grid.
Says a lot.
He says a lot. So, yeah, it's not a great start. But, I mean, overall, though, fantastic grid. Good turnout for Castle Combe. It's what we wanted it, you know what I mean? Just hope we all have a safe race.
We'll be sound, mate. I'm sure we will. Spot on. Mickey Butler, always talking the truth. We like it. Bert Taylor and Chris Smiley first. Bert, do you know what? It's so good to see you for one, and so good to see you in good health, my man. All good?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Recovering, so yeah, I feel much better than I did for a while, for sure.
This is exactly what you need, isn't it? A pole position and this heat.
Yeah. It's been difficult because we've had to balance the performance, but that's the same for everybody. But the championship's mega. It's fresh. You get a chance. You know what the rules are. You come and you take your cars and you race, and it's fantastic. It really has. It's been fresh for us. We've really enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's good.
I've heard about the ECU story. People might not know about that, but I'm going to speak to Chris about it. We spoke before, and I'll let you guys focus. But firstly, congratulations, pole position. Love that ECU story. People may not have heard about it. Can you tell us a bit more? It's cool.
Yes, so basically the ECU was sent 2 weeks ago via Royal Mail to back to Milan, where Yaz is, who builds all the cars. So the balance of performance, the ECU has to go back every so often. So the ECU went back. They done whatever they had to do with it, and but the problem was it only reached there on Tuesday, like Tuesday last week. It was meant to be their 2-day international track service, but it only reached there last Tuesday. But very good friends of ours at home, Susan Shields, they were on holiday in Verona on Italy on holiday, and the guys at Yaz sent it over to their hotel, and they brought it home in their hand luggage on Wednesday morning. So yeah, it sounds like it's not true, but it is. Like honestly, we were going to have to send someone on Thursday morning straight over to Italy to lift the parts.
I absolutely love that story. That hooter may be you guys getting in car, so we'll leave the guys to it. Thank you, and let's have a look who we can speak to. I want to get out the way because it can be a bit of a problem if you're in the way of some cars that are trying to start a green flag lap. I'm going to place myself here because I'm going to speak to I'm going to speak to Chris Dawes, who's the commentator for this circuit. He's trying to do his job as well, and I'm going to interrupt other people. I actually think we should just start to walk towards him, if that's okay. And our production assistant, Jess, will tell me, she's behind the cameraman, Adam, she will tell me if we're breaking up. So, as in we're not together breaking up, as in breaking up on the TV. So, if we are, we're gonna head back. Right. He's doing a little interview. I love this. This is typical of Castle Combe. You've got old school commentators, you've got old school circuit comms. You're looking at Bradley Kent. It's actually a good position for him to be in. You never ever know what's going to go on those front rows. Bruce Winfield, who's just ahead of him on the right, he's pretty much on it. Chris, I was just going to speak to you, mate. So I know you're busy and the circuit comms has gone off. You turned it off, mate. TCR. Castle Combe. Tell me more. It's amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely incredible. What's that now? The third time they've been back here. And the fans want them back here every single time. They're so quick. You know this is a quick circuit, a brave circuit. So to see him charging up Avon Rise up in towards Quarry Corner, it's going to be a belter, mate. Belter.
Well, I'm going to go in the comms box in a second, so I think we'll get off the circuit. There's the last little hooter there. That's everybody getting ready. And, yeah, this is looking pretty special. If you were to ask me, I'm not a betting man, who's going to win this? I think Brad Hutchison maybe in P5 could get on the podium here. Bruce Winfield's always a good one, but Shepherd and Smiley up front is going to be amazing. But shout out to Sumpton, because in that 27, that pink and white car, he has been absolutely awesome. Right, that is the last hooter. Everybody's out the way. I think now we should head on over to Andy McEwen, our lead comms, but maybe a break just before that.
For voice and data solutions at speeds that are simply out of this world, choose Maximum Networks.
Welcome along, everybody, to Castle Combe, round number 10 of the TCR UK Championship 2022. A glorious, warm, sunny day here, a picture-perfect day down in the southwest of the country. A big crowd on hand, a big grid of touring cars set to give us plenty of action over the next 25 minutes at what is a crucial point in the 2022 Championship race. 6 races to go in the season, 4 drivers very much separating themselves at the front of the championship, all to play for. Every race, every point now starting to become more and more important. The temperature just creeping into the 20s now. It could climb a bit higher, actually. It feels more than that, in fairness, out on the grid. Myself and Paul O'Neill have just been out there chatting to a couple of the drivers, soaking up the pre-race atmosphere, and it definitely is a warm one. Realistically and metaphorically, because this, as I said, Paul, is an important part of the championship. The cars just coming back round onto the grid. That was their installation lap, basically. They'd technically done an out lap to the grid for the grid walk, and now they will line back up again. Actually, that's the first thing I want to talk about, Paul, that grid walk. The amount of people we had here wanting to be a part of TCR UK, it really is lovely to see. Castle Combe have always received us well, but this weekend, they really have outdone themselves.
Yeah, something special coming to Alton Park, Castle Combe. It does remind me of Alton Park. Very knowledgeable crowd. Very sincere people as well. I mean, we were stood, weren't we? Loads of people wanted to speak to us both, just chatting.
Speak to you, Paul, mate.
No, they didn't want to speak to me. They probably might want to speak to me because they know they'll get some weird response. But yeah, people lovely down here, love coming. Everyone's enthusiastic, and the teams thrive off that. You know, and the championship itself's thriving. I said to you earlier in the day, TCR UK has never looked so good. You know, from the live stream with the Alpha Live guys to also just the actual you know, basis of it, and it just looks brilliant. And I'm loving being a part of it. I thought that was Chris Smiley then on the grass trying to get back to his grid spot. But yeah, just quickly before I forget as well, Andy, the little drivers briefing that they've just had, I believe. That was obviously about track limits and you know, looking after the cars and not bouncing off the curbs. Because when they were here Thursday, the tyres stacks through the both chicanes were a wider aperture, so you could go through faster. Sorry, they were closer together, so you could go through slower and you didn't hit those curbs. But now they've moved that away, and they're now taking too much curbs and they're clobbering stuff. So I think that extra little lap they've done is maybe to show that the circuit is now changed again. So they have, I think, just moved it a bit narrower, so they've had to get the right in.
Yes, yeah, from what I understand, they keep the tyre stacks. They have these tyre stacks on the apexes of the 2 chicanes here, the S's and then Bobbies on the Castle Combe circuit. They keep them there for practice and qualifying so that they know what the track limits are, and then they move them out of the way, because how many times do we hear people saying we shouldn't have big, solid tyres right on the apex of a corner, because if you hit that, that's your day done. So, sensible thing, move them out of the way, but of course racing drivers are racing drivers. They're then going to try and take advantage of that where they can. So we shall see. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of track limits today, but let's hope it doesn't have an effect on our race for the victory, which, Paul, I can't predict. I know Chris Smiley got the pole position, but it was by a very, very narrow margin over Adam Shepherd. Adam, we know, is capable of going quicker than that because he did on actually older tyres in morning warm-up earlier on. Bruce Winfield hungry for his first victory of the season. There are some quick guys at the front and some hungry guys as well. Brad Kent on row 2 as well.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot going on in that grid. The only thing I will say is that there's a lot of people who are at the front who've had a little bit of a failure because they've been trying so hard. So this is going to be I think this is going to be a race of attrition, because it's all good and well telling a racing driver something, but low pressures, hotter ambient, and Mickey Butler was saying to me from Goodyear, he said some of them won't listen. They're very young on the grid. Chris Smiley, probably one of the oldest and the most experienced, and it does show. So yeah, let's look out for what's going to happen, because I think there's going to be some surprises here, and I think there might be some championships turned on their heads.
I think so. The championship situation, by the way, coming into this race after qualifying, because remember, the top 6 qualifiers for race 1 score championship points. 6 points for pole position went to Chris Smiley. It's the 3rd time this season that he has scored the maximum points from qualifying. Did it at both the first 2 rounds at Alton Park and Donington Park. Then had actually some difficulties qualifying at Brands Hatch in the second visit to Alton, but he's back on top again. And those 6 points take him from 3rd in the championship to the championship lead. This is all once the dropped scores are calculated. Each driver drops their 2 lowest race scores throughout the season. So on overall points, it's Isaac Smith in the Race Car Consultants VW Golf GTI TCR car, which leads the way. But once those drops are taken into account, it is Chris Smiley 2 points ahead of Max Haas, who is 3 ahead of Isaac Smith, so 5 points in it between the top three. However, Paul, none of them were anywhere near each other on the grid. They all had differing fortunes in quali, didn't they? Chris Smiley up there on the pole position. Isaac Smith sort of towards the back of the top 10, so is Max Hart. And then Lewis Kent well outside of that top 10.
Yeah, well outside. And just watching these guys get off the line, the noise from Chris Smiley's car, you could see quite clearly he was using launch control. So locking the rear wheels, full throttle, and releasing the line lock or the handbrake, what they call, and yeah, getting away. So this is critical, one of the most critical starts that you'll see from everybody.
Yeah, long run up towards what is not technically the first corner. That kink you can see at Folly is the first corner on the circuit. The first real corner is at Quarry Corner at the top of Avon Rise. There's a long way before you hit the brakes there on the first lap. Right then, cars out on their green flag lap. Let's take a look at how they're lining up then for this 10th round of the TCR UK Championship. It is the points leader, Chris Smiley, who has his third pole position of the season, with Adam Shepherd, who's had a few podiums now, looking for that first victory though, and he's starting from second place. Bruce Winfield and Brad Kent also winless so far in 2022. They're the second row ahead of Brad Hutchison, and Scott Sumton, a career best qualifying effort there with a stunning lap for 6th place. Championship leader on outright points, Isaac Smith starts 7th alongside our most recent race winner, Jamie Tonks, the reverse grid winner at Alton. He's 8th. And then Max Hart. Max Hart had another driver who had a rear hub shear in qualifying. Did well not to end up in the barriers, but could only manage 9th with his time that he'd set by that point ahead of Jack Constable, Jess Hawkins and Alex Lee sharing row number 6. Then it's Callum Newsham and Darrell Wilson. Lewis Kent there in the Velocity. They're really struggling for setup in that car. 15th, the best that the double reigning champion could do, ahead of Andy Wilmot, one of the stars of Alton Park. Matthew Wilson's new shaped Cupra is 17th ahead of the Subaru of Antwort Niels. Watch for him to get his elbows out as he tries to race towards maybe the top 10. Then it's Steve Gales with Neil Trotter at the back of the grid. Steve Gales in a Golf this weekend. His Audi still damaged after Brands Hatch, and Neil Trotter had a bit of a grassy excursion in qualifying. That is how the grid lines up then. Drivers making their way around on this green flag lap then, trying to get some heat into the tyre, which sounds like a daft thing to say, Paul, on a day as hot as this, but it's not so much the heat, but the pressure that they need to work in those Goodyear tyres. They still do have a bit of work to do on this lap.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're putting pressure in the tyres, you need to make sure that they start off low, because they're going to go, you know, pretty high. So all teams will run different pressures, but it is, like you say, it's more about the pressure, so the sidewall doesn't get fractured when it clobbers those curbs and gets a real hard workout. And the other thing you don't want to do, sounds weird, it's very hot, but if you can cold tear a race tyre. So if the tyres are too cold on the actual outside of the tyre and you wheel spin it, you can tear that tyre even though it might be quite warm on the inside. Different ways of warming tyres up. There's weaving like you see, but also left foot braking and making sure that the heat comes from the brakes and comes from the inside of the tyre outwards, and that's the best way to do it, because you do see some people and they get it wrong, and that's why they're failures.
Yeah, absolutely, and you want to make sure you've got some rear tyre temperature in particular when you hit the brakes up at Quarry for the first time. So here we go then, 10th round of the championship. Chris Smiley's Honda on pole, Adam Shepherd's Hyundai second, and Bruce Winfield's Cupra starting third. There's an Audi up there towards the front. We've got a Golf inside the top 10 too. Great variety at the pointy end of the TCR UK grid. Who is going to get the win? Could Chris Smiley extend his championship margin, or will we see some of the other title favourites marching towards the front? It's going to be a fascinating race, and it's a race that is about to get underway. 25 minutes on the clock. The sun shining down here at Castle Combe, waiting for that starting gantry to light up red. The revs will then rise, and we will be ready to go racing. There seems to be a bit of a delay, but now the board is held aloft by the starting marshal. Watch for those red lights then. Hopefully we'll see them on the top left corner of the screen, and then we will get to go ready to go racing. 5 lights will go on. An old school starting procedure here. The red lights will go out now. We're away and racing, and Chris Smiley goes nowhere. The championship leader from pole position has stalled. So too has Jack Constable further back. Cars scattering onto the grass. Lewis Kent is one of them. How on earth did they miss Chris Smiley, who only now gets going at the back of the pack? The rest of the field head through Folly up towards Quarry for the first time, and already it is a very, very jumbled up order. Adam Shepherd leads at the top of the hill. Winfield is second. Hutchison with a brilliant start, and Isaac Smith there as well. Off in the background, that's one of the Cupras. It's Jamie Tonks. Jamie Tonks backwards into the barriers at Quarry. A dramatic start, Paul. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, dramatic start. Hold your breath at the start, and I'm so happy that no one ploughed into the back of any of those cars. It was so nip and tuck, but that's going to be a safety car. Jamie Tonks is buried at the top of Quarry, backwards into the rectocell barrier. Hopefully the car isn't that badly damaged, because I must say the tyre barriers and rectocell here are amazing, but what a start. It's got to be a safety car, isn't it? I'm looking around.
Darrell Wilson there, almost assaulting Lewis Kent. Yeah, you're right, that has to be a safety car. There are still double-waved yellows I can see out of the window at Quarry, so they haven't got that car out of the way, so expect the safety car to be out on track. Yes, the boards are being held aloft on the start line, I can see. So terrible news for Adam Shepherd, who had a big lead. Oh, one or two of them caught out.
They're not seeing that. They didn't see that, and a lot of the drivers, they're pulling out because they were unsighted. They got the yellows and the safety car board out pretty quickly, in my opinion. They've also got the LED lights you can see in the middle of your screen there. So, yeah, there was a lot going on there. But I'll tell you what, the problem, well, it's not a problem because it's left-hand drive, but I wouldn't want to be in a right-hand drive car buried in there. But those rectocell barriers are unbelievable. I don't think there will actually be a lot of damage to that car, hoping anyway. But tell you what, he went off at some speed.
Yeah, he was backwards before he got there, which means that he's lost control in the braking zone, whether on his own or assisted, we couldn't see. But he was backwards when he got to the top of the hill, and there is a reason they have that rectocell there, because it's a very popular place to have an accident. That is the main thing, that Jamie is okay. Thumbs up there to the marshals. He will be counting the cost, though. That's a real shame for Jamie, who had high expectations for this race.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? But Chris Smiley,
yeah,
2 perfect starts with the line lock on and the full throttle and the launch control system. It looked like it maybe was the first time he'd had a proper run at it. But sometimes, if you've done 2 practice starts, you can put so much rubber down that the third time that you do it, the car, you go the same time and you don't put enough revs on, and there's too much grip on the track, and it's maybe stalled the car. So, yeah, Smiley dead last, isn't he, I think?
He's got a few behind him. He's 16th. So, good news, bad news for Chris. Bad news, he had pole. It was a brilliant opportunity to outscore his rivals, and that's now gone. The good news is that he's caught back up because of the safety car. We know he's got a quick car. He'll make progress from there, right?
He's got to, hasn't he? And I'd like to think he's got a quick car, and he knows how to pedal, he knows how to pass, he's brave. So, yeah, all is not... somebody... I didn't quite see who it was, but somebody looked like they were going to drill him. It might have been Tonks, but it was somebody around the middle of the pack, and I tell you what, they were so lucky. I think they actually snapped his wing mirror off. Something got very close. I'm so glad that didn't end in an accident.
One driver I did see go off the track by quite a long way to avoid it was Lewis Kent, so I wouldn't mind getting a look at the front of that Veloster, see whether he's picked up any grass in the grille, because he might not be there he goes just through shot now, he might not be noticing that at safety car speed, but once he gets up to full racing speed, if there is a grille full of grass, then the temperatures in that engine will start climbing within a couple of corners, really. But, yeah, he has at least managed to gain one place, in fact, where is Lewis Kent? Lewis Kent is in the top 10, just ahead of Antwort Neal, so I should give you the order, really, because it bears very little resemblance to the grid that we had a couple of laps ago. Adam Shepherd, the leader, there you can see him on screen, the white and purple Hyundai. Bruce Winfield behind him, Brad Hutchison in the Audi with a good start in third. And that man again, Isaac Smith, who had a disappointing qualifying effort, into the top 4 already. Someone is looking down on him at the moment because he seems to have the best look. All of these drivers are having terrible look in the championship. They're giving their good look, I think, to Isaac. Jess Hawkins a good start into 5th. They had Max Hart from 9th to 6th. Then Callum Newsham, Alex Lee, Scott Sumpton and Lewis Kent. Lots of winners there, a couple of losers, but some real gains for a few further back.
Yeah, Isaac Smith, I mean... Yeah, he wouldn't have thought he'd be seeing this. I think there was a lot going on in that at the front of that grid and then into the middle of the pack. So, you know, you can lose so many places. If someone comes out the throttle to 50% because something's going on, they have a moment or there's something in front of them, you can really, really get, you know, on top of everyone there and crack on. Looking at the damage, the rear wing doesn't look too bad, but that right rear does look like it's... You know, so the energy's got to go somewhere, and behind that rectocell and black and red barriers, behind that, then you've got tyres, and then you've got the grass bank. It used to just be grass bank, and I'll tell you what, that would have been a roll for sure if it was there back in the day. So I've got to say, Castle Combe, for me, they're looking pretty safe as a circuit. It's good to see that.
Yeah, you know from painful personal experience how unpleasant it used to be to have an accident here at Castle Combe, and thankfully they have worked long and hard on the safety of this place, as they have to, because what they've managed to do actually is allow it to retain its old school feel whilst being a little bit more sanitised now for modern motorsport, and that was really important. They've done a fantastic job, and Quarry Corner famous for catching people out, so they know that that's definitely one of the places where they need to have that rectocell barrier. So Adam Shepherd Shepherd then, is he happy with his safety car or not then, do you reckon? Because he had a big lead, but the fewer racing laps they have to do, the less he has to worry about the tyres, the less defending he has to do from the likes of Winfield behind him.
Well, he's had that puncture, he's had a rear hub failure, so he will be loving this. He would love the safety car to be out for another 10 minutes, I'm telling you now. And that was what I was going to tell you about. You know, a lot of the teams, and even Mickey Butler from Goodyear, will be happy about this because it's less stress that they're putting through the tyre that, you know, that these drivers are cutting the circuit to and causing these failures of parts and of the tyre as well. So let's not forget that, you know, it's easy to cut a tyre, it's easy to, if you're cutting corners, and they have been, I'm not blaming all of them, but they are a young bunch, and sometimes it falls on deaf ears. I've been there when Mickey Butler from Goodyear is saying, don't do this, don't do that. First lap, I just muller the curve, fracture the sidewall, and then I'm like, Mickey, what's going on with these tyres? And it's like, what did I tell you? So you do have to listen, and the engineers need to know as well what the score is.
And it's these early laps where you're most likely to damage the tyres. So again, having the early neutralisation because of the safety car means they can just keep on bringing the pressures up now without actually whacking the curves. So yeah, one driver definitely to watch here on the restart is going to be Lewis Kent. Then you can see the number 1 Veloster coming through. He's gained quite some positions. He's got Antwort Niels behind him. Remember, race 2, the top 10 finishers from this race are reversed to give us the race 2 grid. So right now, with Wart Niels and Lewis Kent on the front row, they've had their run-ins already this year. That is a fight that I would buy a ticket for, and I'm sure both of them will be looking to make more progress from there. But that is an interesting bit of the grid to watch for. You've got people like Darrell Wilson, winner here last year, Andy Wilmot, Brad Kent. Don't know what happened to Brad Kent. He was starting 4th on the grid, so he wasn't even behind Smiley, was he? I think we missed him getting a bad start amongst everything else that was happening.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars that were either stuck on the grid or made a really bad start. As we see Jamie Tonks' car bouncing across the grass, but on a flatbed. The rear of that car,
given the speed he went into that wall, Paul, that's not bad.
Over 100 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, and you don't get time to knock speed off. And going backwards as well, I mean, that would have been a scary episode. I'm really thankful to Castle Combe actually for that, because usually when you go off there, you hurt yourself and you hurt your wallet as well. It's not great. And like you said, I was racing back here in 1999 in an MGF Cup race. It was my 6th ever race. And I went off so hard at the last corner camp, and I didn't really do much wrong. I just touched a bit of curb and it bounced the car into oversteer. I wasn't experienced enough to catch it, and it wrote the car off, and it wrote off my body off as well. I really hurt myself that day, and it did teach me a lesson. But I like the challenge of circuits like this, but I love the fact that, you know, Emma and the team here at Castle Combe have actually, you know, thought about safety and stuck those. Them Recticel barriers, by the way, are a fortune.
Oh, really?
Mate, they're a fortune, so fair play that they've bought a load of them.
Worth every penny, in my opinion, and in Jamie Tonks' opinion as well, I would imagine, because there's every chance he'll be back out for race 2, whereas without them, he certainly wouldn't be. Right, that's good news. Lights out on the safety car then. We are nearly 9 minutes into the race, but we're about to get it back underway, and now Adam Shepherd has to execute the restart of his life, because the top 4 on this grid have never won a race in TCR UK before, so he is going to have some hungry hounds on his tail, and Bruce Winfield, with an extra year's worth of experience in the championship over those around him, will be on his toes to take advantage, but he hasn't looked because Shepherd's gone early. He left a big gap to the safety car. He almost catches the safety car too soon, but he actually judged it to perfection. There's the safety car in the pit lane. There is Adam Shepherd at full racing speed. That was spot on.
That was one of the best restarts I've seen under safety car for a long time. He timed that to absolute perfection. If he'd have overtook the safety car or backed off, he could have been in real trouble. Look at this then. Max Hart, he's going to have a go, and this is the part where you don't want to have a go, but he will try to get down the outside as they go up into quarry.
Done it as well. That's 5th place now for Max Hart. This is a golden opportunity for the Irishman to get his championship lead back. He's ahead of Jess Hawkins now into the top 5. He'll be thinking race win now for sure. We know that 101 Hyundai is quick round here. He was arguably, he said, expecting to be on pole position had it not been for that hub failure. So as long as the car keeps in one piece, he could be the favourite for the win. He will try and catch up to the leading quartet as soon as he can. There, the fight for 3rd. Look, the 2 blue cars, the Audi of Brad Hutchison, the Golf of Isaac Smith. So of those title contenders, Smith at the moment scoring the best. How much do you think he'll be thinking about that, though? Because I asked him yesterday, do you think it will take a race win to win the championship? Remember, he hasn't won one yet. He said, yes, I think it will. So is he going to defend from Hart or keep on focusing forwards?
Well, this is the problem. If he wants to dispose of Hutchison now in the 17, he needs to get on him at the top of Quarry, because otherwise Max Hart's going to be on him and he's going to have a right old nightmare battle on his hands. This is going to be interesting now, because Smith probably hasn't raced against Hutchison that much, so will he risk it by trying to lunge somewhere, or is he going to just sit back, take the points? But look at this. Oh! Nearly into the back of him, and that he nearly took to the grass to try and avoid him. Locked up the front. It must have been a lock-up of the front left, because I didn't see it. They nearly wiped him out.
There's your answer then, Paul. He's going to go for it, isn't he? That was very close to disaster. And what it does is it now allows Max Hart to latch onto Isaac Smith's rear bumper. So this is big for the championship. Remember, these two separated coming into this race by 3 points. As it stands, whoever finishes best in this race would reclaim the championship lead. This is a big, big fight there between Isaac Smith and Max Hart. Yes, it's only for 4th place on the road, but they will both know the significance of this. Meanwhile, the lead gap has come right down as well. Bruce Winfield right on the tail of Adam Shepherd as they went towards Bobby's.
Yeah, look at this. Max Hart. If Max Hart's going to make a pass now, he needs to be into camp super, super fast and then try to get on the back of Smith. I tell you what, that car of Max Hart, who is now following Isaac Smith, is looking silly quick. He is going to be lit up the top of this hill.
Good exit from Camp Corner there. He's in the tow as they head towards Avon Rise. This is where he got past Jess Hawkins a couple of laps ago. Surely he's not close enough to launch an attack on Isaac Smith. He's hunting around though, filling the mirrors of the youngster. Max Hart peeking to the inside. He's just trying to force the mistake out of Isaac, because that's the easiest way to pass someone. Don't force your way through, make them open the door.
I tell you what, Max Hart will have seen two things there. Isaac Smith in that 1-2-3 Golf is braking so early for Quarry Corner, because he had that lock-up, and Max Hart knows. But look at Hutchison. Hutchinson's now dropping back as well. This could become a three-way. Shep, though, look at the boy in the lead.
Yeah, weathered the storm. I don't know if he made a mistake a lap ago when I noticed the gap had come down at this part of the circuit, but he's getting it back out again. A quick check on Lewis Kent and Chris Smiley, by the way. Lewis is 9th, Chris Smiley 12th, so he's in the points as Darrell Wilson is off. That's a shame. Winner here just over a year ago at Castle Combe, and the likeable Darrell Wilson looks like he's headed for a non-finish.
Yeah, Max Hart's on the back now. Look at the dive in the front of that car. That Max Hart car is working a lot better. If he doesn't go flat out through Camp Corner. He's making a steady intro into Camp Corner. But look at the speed of Isaac Smith. Look, watch how early that he brakes, and then Max Hart will brake so much later and try and get down the inside. Such a difficult move that, because you're off camber, you're on a bump, and also you're trying to turn right from left.
He's got to think about this though, Max Hart, because he's already had 2 non-finishes, remember, at Alton Park, so he's used up his drop scores. The last thing he needs here is contact with Isaac Smith that leads to a penalty or damage that takes him out of the race. So yes, he wants to get past Isaac, but he's got to play the percentages to an extent. Isaac, however, has significantly less to lose. He's only finished out of the top 5 once all season. Oh, and by the way, they're both closing in on Brad Hutchison, so the phrase cork in the bottle springs to mind here.
Yeah, and to me it looks like Brad's Audi is a bit softer than the cars behind, so that car may start pulling away as we get more into this race, as the tyre attrition changes. But I've got to say, the body language of the green and white Max Hart car looks super. Look at the front of it when it dives on the brakes. It's got so much more braking capacity, the 101, than it has that 1-2-3 Golf. So yeah, this is on, and I've got to say, let's not forget Brad Hutchison here. He's not been in a podium position, has he, this year? So he's doing a good old job.
Lead gap down by 3/10 that time. It's back under half a second now between Shepherd and Winfield, so that's not over yet. Through goes Lewis Kent there, his younger brother Bradley a few places back, and Chris Smiley still stuck behind Scott Sumpton. So Scott Sumpton's got a job to do for the team here, hasn't he? Try and keep Smiley at bay, and crucially keep him off that race 2 pole.
Yeah, he'll be having his own little race there, and he won't be thinking about his team. He'll just be thinking about himself, which is the best thing to do. And it does look like Max is now starting to, I think he's figured out where he's fast enough to really push on, because he's not fast enough through the last corner for me. He doesn't use all of the exit, and if he wants to make a move, he needs to make it pretty soon. But they're all starting to move away from the apex now, aren't they, because they're trying hard. Max Hart, though, he can put that car wherever he wants, that 101.
Yeah, because he went into Tower Corner quite tight and came out of it tight as well, but didn't seem any slower forward. So interesting dynamics here between Isaac Smith and Max Hart. They're not exactly bottled up behind Brad Hutchison, in fairness. They catch him at certain parts of the circuit, but at others the Audi does seem to be working well. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, back out of the final corner. And yeah, you're absolutely right, another half a car's width wider Max Hart could go. Is he concerned about track limits maybe?
I think he's just concerned about tyre management.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to stay off that curb, and in turn, when you stay off the curb, you cannot get too close to that curb, because it'll bounce you away. So He's definitely thinking Brad is now on. This is an attack. Isaac has got to get past him if he wants to get away from Hart.
Yes, he has. Chris Smiley, by the way, into the top 10 and right on the tail of Lewis Kent now. So as 2 of our title contenders fight for 4th, another 2 are doing battle over 9th place. But this is where the action is. Brad Hutchison, he's now starting to look like he's under more and more pressure from Isaac Smith, with Max Hart waiting to pick up the pieces if he can. Down towards Tower, arguably the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit, but not quite close enough. Out of Hammer down there, that quick right-hander after the S's, the Audi seems to work well. It's through some of the tighter sections like this, maybe, where the slightly shorter wheelbase Golf looks really strong. Isaac Smith well off the road there as he tries to carry as much speed as possible towards camp.
Wow, well, here we go then. This is it. Something's got to give here. What's going on there with Max Hart in that 101? He's weaving those tyres about. I mean, they'll be well up to. Do you know what he's got? That car is overheated.
Yeah.
That car is overheating. He's looking for cooler air. I think Max Hart's going to struggle here. The ignition may start retarding if that is him trying to get out the dirty hot air.
Because he's doing it at every opportunity, so it's clearly something he's very concerned about. It's not a niggly little issue. He's really worried. Let's see if he does it again down this next straight edge. Pulls to the right-hand side. Look, really pulls to the right-hand side. Even an extra half a second of clean air, he thinks is worth it.
Yeah, well, he's got 2 options. He's got to get past these guys or drop back, but that's a worry for me. Oh, no, Brad.
Brad Kent. I mean, how many ladders did he walk under before the season started? He has just had nothing but the worst fortune. And the number 5 car, which had qualified so well, second row starting position, he was so happy. Oh, Max Hart wide onto the grass. That nearly went wrong. So although he's worried about maybe this overheating issue, he is still pushing on. Is the car slowing? Is the car slowing? This could be big trouble for Max Hart. He's slow, he's weaving around, and there is a problem with the Hyundai.
Yeah, that is finished for Max Hart. Oh, no. Is that another right rear problem? Something doesn't look right. It's not like Max to fly off. That car's got a right rear problem. I'm sure of it.
It's wobbling around, isn't it? That looks very similar to the issue he had earlier on in qualifying. So we will find out what we can after the race for you, but that is big news. Could not afford another non-score. That might have effectively taken him out of the championship fight. We shall wait and see, though. A long way to go in this race still. Max Hart pulls in outside of our window. We'll see what we can glean from that if we can, whilst we also focus on the fight for 3rd place, which of course now is just a Brad Hutchison and Isaac Smith affair. No pressure now for Isaac, and this should, in theory, aid him in his attempts to get past the Audi.
Yeah, and I think that now is the time, because I think Isaac, well, does he want 4th place points? It's working out for him so far, not trying too hard, but Brad seems to be stroking it home in that 17. He's driving exemplary. This is proper stuff, as we can see those guys in front. They're 3 seconds in front of this battle, so Brad, he's just got to fend off Isaac, and it's just how bad Isaac wants to get on this podium. But sitting behind these cars in these temperatures, how far do you want to push? But the 1, 2, 3 will be starting to get hot now. When you're sat behind a car in close proximity, it's not the best.
As it stands, Isaac Smith would be 7 points back into the championship lead. He would be our 3rd different championship leader of the day already at Castle Combe. We've not even finished race 1. He doesn't need to go for this, in my opinion. If I were his engineer, I would be on the radio that they don't have in the cars to tell him that he doesn't need to attack Brad. Hutchison's got very little to lose here, whereas Isaac is in a very handy position. And more Neils I can see in the pit lane as well. The pit lane filling up with a few drivers encountering mechanical issues. Speaking of Chris Smiley, there goes the Honda look, the restart racing car, just ahead of Alex Lee, who I think is suffering maybe with some of the extra compensation weight that he's carrying this weekend. But Alex Lee, double winner already this year, 7th place. This is all the fight for, well, 5th on back, really. You've got Hawkins, Newsham, Smiley ahead of Lee now, so Chris Smiley gaining more ground.
Yeah, it really is, isn't he? He's getting on with it. It's a tight battle, actually. He could make another 3 places up if he can get past Alex Lee. But we know, look at the headlights ablaze. But you know, Newsham and those guys in front, they're not slow. He's already disposed of Lee, so it's just Newsham he's got to get past now, and I think he could probably do it. It's all on this apex and exit of camp, and again another driver not using all of the exit curve, but they're looking fast. He's looking quick now.
The Honda looks stable at high speed, doesn't it? And it's quick in a straight line. Chris, I'm sure, is going to go on the attack here as they head up Avon Rise. Is there a gap on the inside? He thinks there might be, but Callum Newsham has it covered. Does he? No, there is a gap. Smiley goes through. Sensible driving there from Callum Newsham. He realised that Chris was fully committed to the move, and turning in would have just guaranteed that at least one of them was getting fired into the barriers.
Yeah, he just needs to get on the back of him now and crack on. That was a good situation, because that could have put a problem. And Lewis Kent.
No, Lewis Kent in the pit lane as well. And what's this problem? He's going to join his brother Bradley, who I can see is out of his car. So Essex and Kent Motorsport really having a bit of a weekend to forget. So another non-score for Lewis. And again, he really could little afford that. Jess Hawkins, meanwhile, turning her way through the chicane. This looks like it is at the Bobby's chicane, the second of those chicanes towards the end of the lap, and she will have a fight on her hands now for Chris Smiley. This would be for 5th position then, with Smiley now ahead of Callum Newsham, and Jess Hawkins is going to have to defend. But we saw at Alton Park, she knows how to defend.
Yeah, she does know how to defend, and I've got to say, I spoke to Jess a bit earlier today, and she was a lot happy with the car. I don't think the car was to her liking at Alton Park, but the team look like they've done a better job, and Max Hart back in with that right rear problem that I think it is. It's obviously they may have bolted a tyre on, and it's not done the job.
Right, okay, so that's 2 of our title contenders in the pit lane. One of them running 4th and one of them running 6th. This is the man who leads the race, though. Now, it would be easy to forget about this, given the drama that we're getting behind, but Adam Shepherd is gapping Bruce Winfield. For Adam, this would be, potentially, in 3.5 minutes' time, his first ever win in the championship. And do you know what? Couldn't happen to a nicer person. Adam Shepherd has been owed this, I would feel. Had some terrible, terrible luck in the early part of the season, but a real club racer who has worked so hard just to get himself on the grid, and we know that whenever that car works, he's got race-winning potential. It would be nice to see him deliver on it today. 3rd place, though, is certainly still up for grabs. Isaac Smith ain't given up yet.
No, he's not, has he? And whatever happens with this, I've got to say, this is the drive of Brad Hutchison's life. This is they'll know each other from the lower formula. Yeah. They'll have raced against each other in the lower formula. But this will be one over on Isaac Smith. But how bad does he want it? Talking about how bad he wants it, down the inside. Smiley, another textbook move, and Jess has no answer. Well, saying that, she nearly tried to get him round the outside on the exit. But yeah, these guys are going well now. They're going well.
Chris is good on the brakes there, isn't he, into Quarry Corner. A couple of really good moves, and that gets him the championship lead back. So provisionally, Chris Smiley back on top. What a recovery drive this has been. If you'd have told me at the start of the race that Chris would be running 5th place with a couple of laps still to go, I never would have believed you. Now, could he catch the Hutchison and Smith battle? On the previous lap, he was a full second and a bit, 1.2 seconds quicker than Brad Hutchison was. He's about 3 seconds back, but they've got time for a couple more laps. He might catch them. Whether he's going to have time to do anything with them, I'm not so sure, but the more these two battle, the more that is music to the ears of Chris Smiley.
Yeah, not that it matters now, but for Bradley Kent, he did have a 5-second penalty, and that would have been for corner cutting, I'm assuming.
The least of his worries right now, I think, isn't it, that? So up the hill they go then. Fastest lap, by the way, belongs to Adam Shepherd. That is worth a point as well. So crucially, a point he's taking away from our front runners. Bit of a mistake there from Brad.
Yeah, the front, a big mistake. Now Smith is on the back of him, and now he's going to feel the pressure of Isaac Smith. And yeah, Brad just needs to try and stroke it home, and look at the speed of that Golf now. He's in range. He is in range, Isaac Smith.
Hutchison looking for his first podium in the championship as well, so he's not going to give this up without a fight. Chris Smiley, you can see, looming ever larger behind them. Now they're going to come through at the end of this lap onto the final lap of the race. So one more lap at the end of this one around the Castle Combe circuit. The top 2 pretty settled, barring any late race drama. It's all about the fight for 3rd. Brad Hutchison's Audi, Isaac Smith's Golf. Isaac Smith, this run of consistency like I've never seen before, honestly, in a championship at this level. You normally think you have to win at least 1 or 2 races to be in realistic championship contention, but the ability Isaac has to bank points, even if he doesn't have a car that's capable of winning, is second to none. And I really think that unless he has a clear opportunity to get past Brad here, he's not going to take any real risks.
Good stuff there from Gales, getting well out the way of our race leader. But to go back to your point, yes, but the other thing it does as well is it'll frustrate the other people because they will try even harder and they will make more mistakes. So Isaac just playing the percentages games, nothing wrong with that. Playing the percentage games at the minute, Shepherd will be holding his breath that his car can get across this line, because there's 20 seconds left. He's going to have to do another lap, isn't he?
Don't think so. He's got to get through Bobby's and then on the run up to Camp Corner. It'll be close, but I think it should tick down to 0 before the end of the lap. And you have no idea, folks at home, how true Paul's statement was. Adam Shepherd will very much be expecting almost something to go wrong here, the way the start of his season went, but it doesn't look like it will. Through the... Oh no! He's off! He's got a puncture! I don't believe it! The final corner, Adam Shepherd with a puncture! Needs to get to the line, he can't get there! And Bruce Winfield wins round number 10 of the TCR UK Championship. I cannot believe it. That must have been a left front puncture at the final corner of the race for Adam Shepherd. He still finishes second. That is unbelievable.
Wow, I cannot believe it. I thought it was done. I thought it was done as everybody else comes across the line. Can you believe it? Margins in racing shown again. He must have heard the vibration. As he was braking for Camp, he was lucky not to get in the wall. I am gutted for him.
I am not going to be welcome in that awning at the end of this race, I don't think. Raise of hands there for Adam Shepherd. He at least got second. Look, it wasn't a complete disaster. He got the second place, but when you're that close to your first race victory, I mean, you can understand the frustration there, Paul. I'm sure you've been there as well.
He's devastated, throwing his helmet and his hands device. Oh, that was awful. Oh, look at that. I'm devastated for him, mate.
Well, in theory, you're going to be talking to him in a moment or two. Good luck with that one, Paul. Paul heading down to the podium then to conduct the podium ceremonies and to chat to our top 3 drivers. That means, unbelievably, that Bruce Winfield has claimed his first victory of the season. What a turn up for the books that was. I mean, Bruce has been getting better over the last couple of rounds, it must be said, and that will be a very, very well-deserved third career victory in the championship. With Adam Shepherd in second, there's confirmation of the result, 0.7 of a second in it. Heartbreak for Shepherd, elation for Bruce Winfield, albeit not the way you would have wanted to claim the race win, I'm sure. Brad Hutchison gets his first podium. Let's talk about something more positive. His first podium in the championship for the Bondit Audi. And again, we have 3 different types of car in the top 3. In fact, we have 5 in the top 5 because it's Isaac Smith's Golf next in 4th. And that's a mini victory for him because he is the best of the championship contenders. He and Chris Smiley, 4th and 5th places respectively. And it will be Chris who retains the championship lead. Jess Hawkins a solid run to 6th. Callum Newsham in 7th. Alex Lee in 8th position. Jack Constable 9th. And Scott Sumpton will be on pole position in race 2. That's the second time he's done that this year. 10th place finish in that race gives him the race 2 pole. Then it's Andy Wilmot, Matthew Wilson, Neil Trotter, Steve Gales and Lewis Kent. I don't think will be classified 15th because he wasn't running at the flag, nor, crucially, was Max Hart. So 2 of the big hitters in the championship logging another non-finish ahead of Antwort Eels. Then it was Bradley Kent, Darryl Wilson and Jamie Tonks, of course, after that high speed off on the first corner. Drama literally then from turn 1 to the final turn, with 1 or 2 of them dropping to the wayside along the way. But I cannot believe what we just saw there. It goes to show you need to watch these races right until the very end. And Adam Shepherd with the win literally in sight. I'm assuming a left front puncture. We will find out from him shortly, I'm sure. But whatever it was, costing him the race win in the most dramatic of fashions. So, deep breaths, everyone, because we get to do that all over again later on with the reversed grid race, of course. That race due to kick off at 4:10 local time. The top 10 reversed, as I said. So Scott Sumpton on the pole position for that one, alongside Jack Constable, who'll be looking for his second victory of the season so far. And we'll also have Alex Lee up there. Alex Lee, twice a winner already this season. We'll be looking to try and get another one there. The repair work being done to the rector cell barriers. They temporarily fixed it after Jamie Tonks went off there on lap 1, but they're now making absolutely sure that the barrier is sorted for our other races. A busy day of racing here at Castle Combe with lots of the resident championships out in force as well, and a great day for the spectators trackside to enjoy. Darryl Wilson spent most of that race trackside, although probably not enjoying himself too much because the Vauxhall Astra pulled off with an issue. Darryl did have infamously an off here once, back in the first year we raced here actually in his Astra, went off into a field and found a pile of bricks hidden by the crops that were being grown at that time. You wouldn't think there was anything solid to hit in the field on the inside of Castle Combe, but he found something wrecked in front of his car, and we've never yet let him forget about that. But this time it looks like it was mechanical induced as opposed to an off resulting in some damage. So, championship-wise then, let's just confirm what all of this means then. So Chris Smiley, as I said, should retain the championship lead. He finished in 5th place. That's worth 24 championship points. We know that Max Hart and Lewis Kent get non-scores, and Isaac Smith manages to rack up another 4th place finish. That's 27 points for him, and that means then that by 2 points Chris Smiley retains the championship lead on dropped scores. To prove the frustration of drop scores for some drivers though, Isaac Smith would actually be 40 points ahead of Chris Smiley if we weren't dropping the 2 worst scores, because Isaac's been by far the most consistent driver of the season. So even though he's not actually leading the championship, he is, if you look at the total points. Max Hart then will be now 26 points off the championship lead, whilst Lewis Kent on 207 points is 41 points off the championship lead. But remember, there are 41 points available in each race, 40 points for winning a race and a bonus point for the fastest lap, plus the qualifying points that will be back on offer in qualifying at Donington Park and Snetterton, the final 2 rounds. So there are lots and lots of points still up for grabs, getting on for 200 points. So don't count any of them out just yet, but it is a narrow advantage for Chris Smiley. Right then, lots to dissect after that race. Let's head down to Paul O'Neill, who's with our podium finishers.
Wowzers, what a race, what a finish. Me and Andy McEwen in the comms box there just saying he'll be holding his breath, Adam Shepherd, for his first victory in TCR UK. And what happened there, we need to speak to him. Let's try and get him over in a bit, but we're down in Park Ferme just waiting for the cars. It was unbelievable. I'll try and find a few people to speak to. The Hutchinson crew have just arrived, and they're very happy, and his mum's here. We are live. What an absolutely epic result.
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, yes.
I mean, what were you guys saying to him just before he went out?
Good luck, as always. We just like gets everything crossed, and we just thought, yeah, today might be the day.
It's been a long time coming, isn't it? And to be fair, I thought he might have got P2 just on the line, but he seemed to look after the tyres, and the pressure from Isaac Smith, he really just got on with it.
He did. Isaac was flashing his lights and trying all the tactics, but Brad just kept his cool and didn't make any silly mistakes, which is the main thing, really. He just kept to it and brought it home, so brilliant.
And it was all in his hands, really, because he's not allowed, is he, to have a radio in the car. He can't speak to the team, so a lot of people, they will manage them, like Martin, his dad, would manage them, but he didn't have to do that. It was a really amazing drive.
Just fantastic, and here's to the next race. So I don't know what the reverse grid will bring him, but yeah, be another good race, won't it? So.
Who cares, actually? He's got his podium. He's got his podium, isn't he? Thank you for talking to us. Absolutely amazing. So we're still waiting for the cars. I'm just going to grab a quick word, if I can, maybe with Stuart Lines. Let me just quickly grab a word with Stuart. Excuse me, gentlemen. That's twice now I've done that.
David can stop it. David's very important.
David, you're very important, apparently.
Marcello Lotti's second in command, I think. I'm told.
Mr. TCR.
Yeah.
Mr. TCR. What was that race like for you?
Yeah, it was good. We needed a clean race where we got cars for the second race, because it's this track's quite. If you're going to go off, you're going to do a bit of damage. But
oh dear me! Look at the antifreeze or coolant coming out of Brad's car there.
Yeah. I mean, I was quite happy with the result. It was unlucky for Shepherd on the last corner getting a puncher. I mean, he couldn't make that up really. But Winfield must have thought his Christmas had come. But great.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? And TCR UK looking pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah, we're very happy with it. Things are going very well, and considering where it came from, and Stuart's done an amazing job. So yeah, we're great, and every time it's getting better. So we keep working at it and try to make it better every year.
Definitely. And Castle Combe, have you ever been to Castle Combe before?
No, actually it's my first time. So, and I raced for a long time here in the UK, but no, it's my first time down here. It's great track, classic track, but not forgiving really.
No, good people, track's old school, isn't it? Barriers are close to the circuit, and do you not fancy a run round in one of your cars?
Yeah, I would. It's my kind of place, actually. Fast, these kind of fast tracks with, requiring a lot of commitment and big penalties was my kind of thing, but I'm way past that now.
I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. Absolutely amazing stuff. So, let's have a little word. We're still waiting for a few cars, and Nikki Lyons just there is trying to sort it out. She's the championship uncoordinated, I think. Do you know, I love the fact that we come to Castle Combe and it's old school, but you were just telling me you missed that little bit of the race there when you were commentating, because you come down, didn't you, out of the media office, and the whole complexion had changed.
Yeah, we basically look at it and we go, right, we watch from media and we collect it around about last lap. So it's a case of, yeah, this seems to be done and dusted sort of thing. There's a couple of seconds, you know, we've got a battle going on for third, but that looks all right. Then all of a sudden, I guess in my ear, because I had the headphones turned on, Chris is going absolutely up the wall saying, oh, so-and-so's done this, that and the other, as someone's going off a camp corner. I'm thinking, I haven't got my pen on me, I can't scribble the results down. That's the stupidest thing about it. But yeah, right until the last moment, which is what we thought might happen, but it's been brilliant. Right from the word go, this has been absolutely fantastic. The pole man, who worked tremendously hard to get there, stalled it on line, finished last, and I think he was up to about fifth place. Fantastic drive. But the problems obviously with the Kent cars and the like of, it's going to be a good second race, to put it mildly. And with the chopping and changing around and the change around on the grid, there are people going, yeah, I'm glad I finished where I did, as I'm just about to see Bruce Winfield come down with his Christmas present of a win in this race. So yeah, he must be really happy, and sweaty and smelly. Well, but no, it's fantastic.
Well, so the best bit about this is Bruce Winfield's missed his space there, so I don't know where they're all going here, but bear with me, and we'll get everybody in line. Adam's supposed to be coordinating this. That's gone well for him. But yes, if you are looking for me, I don't know where Adam's gone, actually. Here he is. Hello, guys. Over here. Let's talk to these guys on the podium. Absolutely amazing. And that big crowd cheer you can hear is actually Brad Hutchison and the team. But the winner, wow, mate, Brucey Winfield. Does that feel like a win?
It's not how you want to take a win, is it? You want to win because you've earned it. But yeah, not ideal, mate, for obviously a teammate to go out with a puncture on the last corner, last lap. Championship points, though, innit, at the end of the day. So yeah, it's a win.
Yeah. You've got to cross the line first to win the race, and such a shame though. But did you sense something was happening in front, or what happened?
No, literally just came into the last corner, and yeah, it was over the grass, and I was like, I didn't really understand what happened, but yeah, puncture, and that was that. Where did he finish in the end?
Second.
Oh, was he second? Oh, was he? Fair play. Yeah. Odd race that was. Well, for me, it was obviously fairly close at the front.
He's here now, so you might want to go and have a little word with him. I'll grab him for an interview. Oh, you have? Yeah. Okay, no worries. Well done, Bruce. Spot on. Boys, first of all, Adam, I'm so sorry, mate. Give me a hook. Oh, mate. The camera, unfortunately, caught you fuming.
Yes. Yeah.
What does it mean to you, mate, when it was done? Yeah. I said in commentary, we're holding our breath. Adam will be doing the same. When did you know that you had a problem?
It went last corner. I had such a gap. I was just managing pace. I was nowhere near curbs. There's like certain parts of the circuit where the surface meets the curb, not the other side, but the near side. And I was making sure that I wasn't on any of that. Towards the end, I was just really, really limping it. Well, not limping it home, managing it home. And then on the brakes into the last corner of the last lap, it went, yeah, so.
Well, I'm totally devastated for you. I'm sure the drivers have all spoken to you, but I'll let you go, mate, because that must be a difficult one to swallow. Unbelievable. Somebody who should be very happy. First podium in TCR UK. Yes. My man. Sweet. How cool's that?
Yeah, it's about time, innit? No, the car's been there. We just haven't had the luck. I think it's the first race we've had where we've had good luck in the first race, or other people having a bit of bad luck off the start and whatnot. But no, it went well. Obviously, massive thanks to Bondit for backing me. It's nice to finally get a podium for him, and obviously, massive thanks to my dad, who does literally everything, probably more than anyone in this paddock right now. But yeah, no, really pleased.
Talk me through the start. That you were lucky. There was a lot of cars that nearly collected Chris Smiley, but there was other cars stopped as well on the grid, and people making slow starts as well.
Yeah, so I saw Brad. The first thing was the initial launch was good, it gripped up and I was happy, and then I seen Brad on the left sort of getting away slow. I don't know whether he had wheel spin or clutch issues. And then as I look back in front of me, there's just a Honda parked, so it was a quick turn left, and yeah, I managed to avoid him, and then obviously got away well, you know, into P3, and I was happy enough with it. Obviously, Isaac was pushing me the whole thing, but he's got championship to think about, so he was, he was a bit more cautious, and he sort of said he'd give me a bit of breathing room and let us get our heads down. And obviously, seeing Smiley's headlights come in at the end of the race, there was a bit nerve-wracking, but no, overall, it was pretty good.
Top man. Listen, leave you to it. Absolutely loved it. Spot on. Where's Wilmot? He's over there. He loves winning this diamond Goodyear trophy does the old Wilmot. Mate, you're back here. You're like a famous face these days when you come and get this trophy, aren't you?
Yeah, whose cup is it now?
It's yours. It's yours, Andy. Kept out of trouble?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was just process of it was staying out of trouble. I'm going on holiday on Monday, so I want to be in one piece for that. And this circuit, you've got to respect it a bit. And I haven't been here for 12 years, and I'm old. So yeah, I was just feeding myself in gently, and yeah, staying out of trouble. But yeah, it's fast. It's really fast, really scary.
Got one race under your belt now. See with the reverse grid what happens where the guys are all jumbled up. Got enough information now to crack on, push on?
Yeah. I mean, the setup's not perfect how I'd like it. It's quite bouncy coming out the corners, and I noticed that pretty early on. But I haven't done many laps around here, even on practice on Thursday. We didn't really do many laps. We was just I was trying to dial myself in, but there was having a few issues with the car. So it was, I don't know. I just wanted to come here, win the old fella's trophy, and stay out of trouble. But yeah, P11's not bad. To be fair, I didn't want P10 because then I'd been starting first, and yeah, I'm not ready for that here.
Well, we'll see how you get on with that P11 start. But well done, mate. Right. Another trophy.
Thank you.
Top man. Wicked. Right then, let's go back to you, Andy.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, just about composed myself at the end of another dramatic race in TCR UK. I mean, one of the most dramatic that we've had. Plenty more racing to come. The Civic Cup are out next. That coming up at 10 to 2 local time, so about 10 minutes before we start the build-up for that one. Then at 10 to 4, it is TCR UK round 11, the reversed grid race, as we've just been hearing about, and that is going to be one not to be missed. And the Civic Cup back out at 5 o'clock for their reversed grid race, and then we do it all over again at Donington Park on the 29th of August on Next Racing here with TCR UK. Well, incredible racing, incredible drama, lots of stories to go and unpack for you in the break between races. We'll have as much news as we can ahead of race number 2, but be sure to join us for more racing here from Castle Combe very shortly. Back on the track, field having absolutely none of it. Chris Smiley's Honda, and off goes the championship leader. Big drama for Smiley. Shepherd hanging on to the lead, but only just. The Audi loses one place, but tries to fight back as Constable's there as well. 3 wide, contact made. How they save that, I will never know.